All right, we're here with Courtney Jeffries, CEO of Virtual Tables. Courtney, thanks for being on the program.
Mark, thank you for having me. Thank you.
So, explain to fans what is Virtual Tables?
Right. Virtual tables recognizes that while there are the best moments of fandom in person, not everybody can actually be there. And there's a huge remote population of fans. And this is true in sports, this is all entertainment that don't have access to their fandom in person. So we've created a platform, we refer to it as the virtual venue of fandom, that teams, brands, even individual athletes can leverage to create in-person moments in a virtual setting for their fans.
So, this is something that the XFL wants to roll out. Um, what exactly? So, how would the process work? This is, fans would sign up and then they get a virtual Zoom type call with a player. Like, how does it work?
Right. So the way that it works is every team in the XFL is going to have their own virtual venue. So each independent city, it's going to look like them. The branding is going to feel like them. It's going to feel like your team for who you're following. How they want to leverage this venue is entirely up to the team. So the way that fans can get involved is really just letting the teams know, but also activating with them. So think about this as a venue for meet and greets, one-on-ones with the players or even with the coaches. Think of it as a venue for chalk talks. I want to go and find out what the game plan is for the next game. I want to understand the post-game breakdown of what happened. How did that victory come about? How did that play come about? And anywhere and all in between. So what we think of is the ability to execute anywhere from a one-on-one to a 10,000 person fan fest. Fans can shop for merchandise. Fans can shop for tickets if they want. They can engage with a nonprofit with a donation or community relation component of a particular team. So this is meant to be a direct extension of the teams directly to the fan bases they're trying to appeal to.
So, each team basically has their own web portal.
Yep, that's
And then
right.
it's up to the team to decide what can be in the web portal. So I could say, hey, I want to have a one-on-one with the quarterback of the DC Defenders,
There you go.
and it would go through that portal.
Yep.
And
And
then,
as I think, and as far as what the teams are trying to leverage for in terms of access, right? The XFL, and this is why we were so excited to partner with them because the goals that the XFL has for fan engagement really looks like throwing the playbook out the window, so to speak. Like they are trying to be innovative here and genuinely break down the traditional barrier that exists between a player and a fan base, right? And saying, hey, we're going to create this access for you guys, and we're going to do so in a setting that is convenient for you and can be more fruitful for what you guys want. And here's what we're starting with.
so like, there's access to the players. They're like a virtual meet and greet. Was there was something about like players signing something
Yeah.
or like what's that?
The concept of a live autograph and being able to get a live autograph has only been available in person, right? There is not a digital component to this. We wanted to change that. So on our platform, a player is able to take a video clip of themselves or just a static image, and on any touchscreen device, autograph it and have that come through in real time on the screen of the fan directly. It can be personalized, it can be generic, and it can be made out to a family friend or a fan that couldn't be there, in the event itself. But this notion that I want to get a live autograph from the player that I love is now available in a virtual setting.
And is this kind of like, what was it, Cameo or one of those services where they could be like, hey, this is so and so, happy birthday to Joe? Like, could they do that kind of stuff on this, or is it more in depth than just that?
Listen, we love that. Absolutely. Like that's very available. We just think of Cameo as being more of a pre-recorded solution. It's
Uh,
still a virtual keepsake or a digital keepsake from a celebrity. We look at ours as a live engagement for the fans and the players as opposed to something recorded. But we love that comparison candidly because it just further shows that there is an industry here of digital keepsakes from a celebrity.
and then you also mentioned, so now there's like the player interaction, but you mentioned something about like post game things or like is what's kind of in the works when it comes to that with as far as the coaches behind the scenes?
So when you think about fan engagement and the best practices that currently exist, there's a lot of event types that get floated around for season ticket holders or families or just general fandom. Things like a chalk talk where a coach is going through the game plan and explaining, the strategy for winning, or explaining the strategy for the draft, or how they're putting the team together. Again, up until now, all of those events have needed to be in person. We can replicate that. We can have that availability where the coach is walking you through game film and explaining what's going on. Fans are able to submit questions, raise their hand, engage directly with the coach while this is going on. So again, just stretching the current execution. I mean, our position, right, is we're not trying to be in competition with the in-person event. That is a tried and true component of any live entertainment industry. We're simply saying that there is a overwhelming majority of the fans that won't be able to be there in person for a number of reasons. And so why isn't there a compelling virtual extension of that? Why aren't we looking more at engaging? Because the overwhelming majority of fans aren't going to be able to come to a game. So let's deliver a platform that fans find very compelling, but also that the teams can leverage for business, right? So that the teams can say, hey, listen, we want to offer you more exclusive opportunities and engagements because it's more flexible.
So what other sports leagues have you partnered with aside from the XFL?
We do some work in Formula One racing. The other one of the other major leagues that we work with is Athletes Unlimited. That's a very much kind of a made for TV league for the women's sports, right? And so we're able to support the teams directly, but the players can actually create their own events as well. The players can go out to their own following and say, hey, listen, I'm going to show you a throwing clinic, during softball, and they can capitalize on their opportunity to do that. We think this is a pretty big opportunity in this college space as well, right? With the student athletes and their new NIL capabilities. And then candidly, we've looked well beyond sports. I mean, right now, there's an opportunity to engage authors that do self-publishing or do book signings. We think of this for, most esports are already a virtual audience. So how can we provide them with tools for greater and further engagement? We think of this working in the music business, whether it's with concerts and festivals, or even in just the music label, developing upcoming talent and wanting them to have access to, their global fan base. So pretty exciting stuff, but well beyond sports.
Oh, interesting. And so how long has the business been around for?
Yeah, Virtual Tables has been around for a couple years. It started as a bit more of a pandemic solution for nonprofit galas and fundraisers. When I joined, there was an opportunity to take it as a bit more of a sports and entertainment feel, because there were some very distinguishing factors that made this different than, the current sort of virtual platforms. For example, we're talking on a Zoom platform right now. This is great for what we're doing. It's not really optimal for fans, right? I don't know that this belongs to a particular brand. I'm not able to shop for the merchandise. I'm not able to do much more than just video chat. We wanted to say there is more engagement to be had.
And then how did you get involved with this company?
Yeah, my background, actually, I'm a recovering sports executive myself. So I spent quite a bit of time with the Oakland Raiders. That should tell you how long ago that was. Briefly was with the Pac-12 conference, and then I was with Madison Square Garden for a number of years.
All right, New York.
Yeah, that's right, New York or nowhere. I was the VP of retention for Knicks, Rangers, and Liberty. Most of my roles were in, fan engagement, ticketing, in-venue experience. And then I like to say I threw my career away to chase down startup life. But nice. There's just such an opportunity with tech startup to explore the shortcomings that the current solutions have, right? And to be able to provide a meaningful solve for real problems. And in the case of sports, there's 3 billion fans worldwide. And if you do some simple math, you're going to realize that there's only room for 5% of them in stadiums and arenas in the United States. So what are you going to do for everybody else? And I'll tell you, what's interesting, Mark, is we know that we should care because you've got streaming services, you've got social media, there's articles written about what's going on, and all of those talk at fans, right? I mean, they really are one-way communication tools, as opposed to finding something that has a bit richer of an experience for the fans to say, like, I was at this event, I'm engaging with the team that I love or the player that I love so much in a virtual setting.
Interesting. And so how did you guys get involved with the XFL? Did they reach out to you? You reach out to them? How did that connection work?
One thing I love about sports is it's a phenomenal league for copycat and best practices, right? I mean, as opposed to some other industries that really want to share what works across teams. And it's an industry built on relationships. And I was grateful to have worked with a number of former Madison Square Garden executives that are now at the XFL. And we got to talking and say, hey, listen, I think it could really help. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, part of the, allure of some of the people in the upper management is their connections to the NFL. So it makes sense that, and we've heard over and over again that the space is small. Everybody knows everybody, at least in the football world, which is kind of interesting. And I guess this is all tied into how the XFL kind of wants to have their product be different and more unique because of this kind of connection with fans. So do you have any idea when this is going to be rolled out? I mean, we're less than 20 days or so from XFL kickoff. Do you have any kind of clue when it's going to come out?
We actually have had a couple events on platform. The teams are getting familiar with the technology. I wouldn't, the rollout is entirely up to them, but it's up to the teams, right? So each of them has their own venue. And I will tell you, when you partner with a league like the XFL, we are expecting them to come back to us and say, hey, listen, we actually want to do A, B, and C. How do we get that done? And I'm looking forward to them really pushing the envelope and saying, here's how we want to be innovative and further break down this barrier that exists. And let's do this, right? So step one is rolling out the venues. Step two is getting comfortable. And then, I really expect these guys to really establish the best practices for what we execute.
Great. All right. Well, Courtney Jeffries, thank you so much, CEO of Virtual Tables. And now the fans understand, and now I understand more, and I'm pretty excited to see how this rolls out. As a technology guy, I'm definitely interested in this stuff. So it's exciting stuff. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Mark, you've been awesome. I appreciate being on the show. Thank you.